everyone. Welcome to my channel. Let me start with a simple question. What happens to your laptop when you replace it? Most people assume it gets recycled, reused, or responsibly handled. But in reality, many obsolete computers, smartphones, and servers begin a much darker journey through the global waste economy. Today, we are going to talk about hazardous electronic waste, corporate social responsibility, and why leadership decisions made in boardrooms have real consequences for communities around the world. This is not just an environmental issue. It's not just a business issue. It is a leadership and ethics issue. And if we care about responsible innovation, we cannot ignore what happens after technology becomes obsolete. Electronic waste, or e-waste, is one of the fastest growing waste streams in the world. Older computers and devices are often exported from wealthier countries to poorer regions under the label of recycling or reuse. But here's the ethical problem. Many of these devices contain toxic materials like lead, mercury, and cadmium. When they are dismantled informally, they contaminate soil, water, and human bodies. So the real question is this: are corporations innovating responsibly, or are they simply exporting harm? When companies benefit from global markets but externalize environmental risk, corporate social responsibility becomes a slogan rather than a practice. Ethical leadership requires acknowledging that responsibility does not stop at national borders. Safely discarding obsolete technology is not as simple as throwing it away. It requires intentional systems built into the product life cycle from the very beginning. This includes secure data destruction, environmentally sound recycling, and transparent supply chains that can be audited and verified. Without these systems, two serious risks emerge. First, environmental harm occurs when devices are dismantled without safety controls. Second, sensitive data can be recovered from improperly discarded hardware, creating cybersecurity threat. Responsible leadership recognizes that this puzzle is not the end of the story, it's part of the story, and ignoring it creates long term consequences that organizations cannot control once the damage is. Now let us address a controversial question. Should manufacturers be required to design products that are 100% recyclable? From an ethical standpoint, the answer leans toward yes. From a technical standpoint, the reality is more complex. Not all materials can be fully recycled with current technology. However, extended producer responsibility changes the conversation. When manufacturers are financially responsible for collection and recycling, they have strong incentives to design better products. This is where leadership matters. Adaptive leaders do not wait for perfect solutions. They commit to continuous improvement and ethical accountability even when the path forward is challenging. Let us be honest. Convenience drives behavior. Most people recycle when it is easy and ignore it when it is not. The same is true for organizations. If recycling technology requires extra time, effort, or cost, participation drops dramatically. But here is the key insight. Convenience is a design choice. When leaders design systems that make ethical behavior easy, participation increases. When they do not, Responsibility gets shifted to individuals who lack the power to fix systemic problems. Ethical corporate responsibility means designing convenience around sustainability, not around the disposal shortcuts. Many assume that once technology becomes obsolete, it loses all value. That assumption is wrong. There is a growing market for refurbished devices, recovered components, and ethically sourced materials. Refurbished computers support education initiatives and provide affordable access to technology. Recovered components reduce the need for new raw materials. When leaders recognize these opportunities, recycling stops being a cost center and becomes a strategic investment. Ethical responsibility and economic value can exist at the same time if leadership is willing to see beyond short term profits. Another common argument is that technology advances too quickly for older products to retain value. While innovation cycles are accelerating, this does not eliminate responsibility, it increases it. Faster innovation creates more waste, more risk, and more ethical pressure on organizations. Strategic leadership means balancing speed with sustainability, not choosing one at the expense of the other. Progress without governance is not innovation, it is negligence. Responsible leaders understand that ethical oversight must evolve as quickly as technology itself. Managing hazardous e-waste requires strong laws, both domestically and internationally. Ethical legal frameworks focus on harm prevention, accountability, and shared responsibility. For example, California's Electronic Waste Recycling Act requires manufacturers to finance proper collection and recycling. This type of extended producer responsibility law has been shown to change corporate behavior and reduce unsafe disposal practices. Laws like these demonstrate that policy can shape ethics, not just enforce compliance. When regulation aligns with ethical leadership, corporate behavior follows. At its core, hazardous waste is not just an environmental issue, it's a leadership issue. Strategic leaders must integrate ethics, sustainability, cybersecurity, and global responsibility into every stage of decision making. Corporate social responsibility is not about checking boxes, it is about redesigning systems for long term impact. As technology continues to shape our world, leadership will determine whether innovation becomes a force for sustainable progress or a driver of global harm. The question is no longer whether corporations should act responsibly. The question is whether leaders are willing to lead. If this discussion challenged the way you think about technology and responsibility, that is the point. Ethical leadership starts with awareness. Thank you for watching. If you found this valuable, consider subscribing for more discussions on leadership, ethics, and strategic decision making in a technology driven. See you on next video.